Welcome to Mysteries of the Universe. I'm your host, Ben Carter. And in today's episode, we confront one of the most unsettling riddles in all of science and philosophy. Known as the Great Filter, it is the possibility that something, some unknown force or step, prevents intelligent civilizations from surviving long enough to explore the cosmos. And if the filter is real, it raises a terrifying question. Have we already passed it, or is it still waiting for us? The story begins with a paradox. In the early 1950s, a physicist named Enrico Fermi was sitting with colleagues during lunch at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. The conversation turned to extraterrestrial life. Given the age of the universe, the sheer number of stars, and the high probability of Earth-like planets, it seemed almost certain that intelligent life should be common. And yet there was no sign of them. No ships, no signals, no evidence at all. Fermi posed a simple, chilling question. Where is everybody? That question evolved into what would become known as the Fermi paradox, a foundational mystery in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The Milky Way galaxy alone contains hundreds of billions of stars. Many of those stars are billions of years older than our own sun. Even at sublight speeds, a spacefaring civilization could theoretically colonize the entire galaxy in less than 100 million years. A blink of an eye on cosmic timescales. So if intelligent civilizations arise often, and if they tend to expand, we should see signs of them everywhere. But we do not. This absence is not just a lack of flying saucers, it is silence across every channel we can monitor. Decades of scanning radio waves have yielded only static, no interstellar beacons, no alien probes, no engineered structures orbiting distant stars. The skies are quiet, eerily so. This silence is what gave birth to the idea of a great filter. The great filter is not a specific theory. It is a conceptual barrier, a step or series of steps in the evolution of life that is incredibly unlikely. The term was coined by economist Robin Hanson in the late 1990s. The logic is brutally simple. Either intelligent civilizations are extremely rare, or they are extremely short-lived. Either way, something must be preventing the emergence or survival of spacefaring species. That something is the filter. The theory forces us to take a hard look at our own evolutionary history. Life appeared on Earth quickly, within a few 100 million years of the planet's formation. Simple cells led to complex organisms. Consciousness emerged. Technology followed. In the grand timeline of the universe, we arrived in an instant. So where are the others? If life is easy to start, then the filter must lie ahead of us. That would mean some future step, like mastering artificial intelligence, surviving nuclear warfare, or colonizing space, is nearly impossible. Or perhaps fatal. The Great Filter may be the answer to Fermi's question. Civilizations might rise all across the galaxy, only to hit a wall they cannot pass. A wall we are now racing toward. To understand the implications of the Great Filter, we must examine the observable data. The actual numbers, patterns, and silence recorded by decades of research. Modern astronomy has revealed that planets are not rare. They are ubiquitous. Virtually every star we observe appears to have at least one planet. Many have multiple. And among them, a significant fraction lie within what is known as the habitable zone, the region around a star where temperatures could allow for liquid water. The Kepler Space Telescope alone has confirmed thousands of exoplanets. Estimates now suggest that our Milky Way galaxy contains more than 20 billion potentially Earth-like worlds. Some of these planets are older than Earth by several billion years. That means if intelligent life had arisen on them, it could be millions or even billions of years ahead of us in technological development. They would have had ample time to send signals, colonize space, or build structures we could detect. Yet we observe nothing. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, spelled out phonetically as SETI, has been operating since the 1960s, scanning the skies for radio signals or patterns that might suggest intelligence. Projects like the Allen Telescope Array and Breakthrough Listen have sifted through massive amounts of cosmic noise. The results? No confirmed detections. Not one clear transmission from another civilization. There are natural explanations for this silence. Civilizations may not use radio. They may not be broadcasting. Or their signals may be too faint, too brief, or traveling on frequencies we are not listening to. It is also possible that intelligent species exist, but do not communicate or explore in ways we expect. Still, the silence is striking, especially when viewed against the backdrop of such overwhelming cosmic scale. Even more puzzling is the absence of any artificial structures. Astronomers have proposed ideas like Dyson spheres, massive shells or swarms built around stars to harvest their energy. These megastructures would create distinctive signatures, such as unusual dimming or infrared emissions. Yet despite years of searching, we have found no definitive examples. We do see strange phenomena. Unexplained dimming from stars like KIC 8462852, sometimes known as Tabby's star, has sparked brief hope, but each time natural explanations remain more likely. Dust clouds, comets, or instrumental error offer more mundane answers. In short, we are looking, and we are not finding. The data do not support the presence of a galaxy teeming with civilizations. This void in our observations is not just curious. It suggests that something is stopping intelligent life from being common, or from surviving long enough to be seen. And that brings us back to the shadow of the filter. Among mainstream scientific circles, several theories attempt to explain the Great Filter within a framework of known biology, planetary science, and evolutionary history. These models propose that the filter lies in one of the key transitions required for intelligent technological life to emerge. One possibility is that the origin of life itself, known as abiogenesis, is extraordinarily rare. While simple organisms appeared quickly on Earth, we still do not know exactly how life began. No laboratory has successfully recreated the process, and the conditions required remain deeply uncertain. If life is difficult to start, then the filter may be behind us. We might be the rare outcome of an almost impossible series of chemical events. In that case, the universe could be filled with barren, sterile worlds, oceans without cells, planets without DNA. Life, in this model, is not inevitable. It is a cosmic accident. Another possible location for the filter is in the jump from simple to complex life. For more than 2 billion years, Earth was dominated by single-celled organisms. The appearance of multicellular life was delayed, and its cause remains only partially understood. It may be that even if microbial life is common, the leap to complex life is vanishingly rare. Intelligence, then, would be even more improbable. Still, other models place the filter later in the sequence, after intelligence arises. Perhaps tool use, language, and technology are relatively easy steps, but maintaining a stable civilization is not. Self-destruction becomes the barrier. Civilizations may invent nuclear weapons, but not the wisdom to avoid using them. They may create artificial intelligence, but not the ethics to control it. They may exploit their environment, collapse their ecosystems, and perish before ever reaching the stars. This version of the filter is especially sobering. It implies that intelligent life is not rare, but short-lived. It arises, burns brightly, and then vanishes, over and over again across the galaxy. If true, we may not be the first to reach our current stage. We may only be the latest to stand at the edge of a precipice. Scientists also explore the possibility that space colonization itself is the limiting factor. It may be that sending life to other stars is far more difficult than we assume. The distances involved are vast. The energy requirements are extreme. Even with advanced propulsion, travel between stars may take centuries or longer. Civilizations could reach a high level of technology, but remain trapped in their home systems, unable to spread, unable to signal, and ultimately erased by time. Each of these models fits within conventional science. Each offers a different answer to the same haunting question. Why do we see no one else? The Great Filter remains a hypothesis, but it is one that grows more urgent with every silent year that passes. Despite the coherence of mainstream explanations, the Great Filter theory is riddled with gaps and contradictions that continue to puzzle scientists and philosophers alike. First is the question of probability. If any one step in the evolutionary chain is vanishingly unlikely, then it should be exceedingly rare to find a planet like Earth, one that has passed through so many thresholds. And yet Earth does not appear uniquely special in terms of its location, age, or composition. It orbits a common star in a typical spiral galaxy. It lies within no known anomaly zone. Its existence challenges the idea that life-friendly conditions are rare. There is also the issue of early emergence. Life on Earth began astonishingly quickly. Within just a few 100 million years of the planet cooling, the first microbial life appeared. This suggests that abiogenesis might not be the barrier. If it were, we might expect Earth to have remained lifeless for billions of years before life arose by chance. Instead, it happened rapidly, as if the conditions for life were ripe, and the process was in fact natural and inevitable. Another inconsistency lies in the assumption that all intelligent civilizations would follow similar paths. The filter model often assumes that life develops intelligence, builds technology, creates signals, and attempts to colonize. But this sequence may not be universal. It is possible that other intelligent species evolve along different lines, ones that do not prioritize expansion, communication, or engineering. They might live in harmony with their environments, avoid artificial radio emissions, or exist in forms that are not detectable by our current instruments. Then there is the silence of the geological and archaeological record. If ancient civilizations had risen and collapsed across the galaxy, we might expect remnants, probes, artifacts, or even unusual isotopes left on moons, asteroids, or planetary surfaces. So far, no such evidence has been found. The absence of techno-signatures, distinct markers of advanced industry or engineering, deepens the mystery. Even within human history, there are warnings. The world has come close to catastrophe more than once. The Cold War brought the threat of nuclear annihilation to the forefront. Pandemics, ecological collapse, and artificial intelligence all present modern risks. But we do not yet know whether these challenges represent a true filter or simply milestones in the growth of a resilient species. There is also the unsettling possibility that the filter is not a single event, but a series of thresholds, each deadly in its own way. Evolution, intelligence, technology, sustainability, and space travel may all carry risks. A civilization might survive one, only to fall at the next. In this view, survival is not about avoiding a singular danger. It is about passing through a gauntlet of existential threats. This multiplicity of unknowns leaves the Great Filter both compelling and terrifying. It suggests that we may not be missing a signal, we may be missing everyone. Because they did not make it, or because they made it, and are choosing to remain hidden. Beyond the established scientific discussion, the Great Filter has inspired a range of speculative and fringe ideas, proposals that lie outside traditional models but offer provocative possibilities. One such idea is that the universe itself may be designed to suppress or regulate intelligence. In this model, the filter is not an accident but a feature. Advanced civilizations might be periodically eliminated by natural mechanisms hardwired into the fabric of cosmic evolution, such as supernova-triggered gamma-ray bursts, black hole emissions, or entropy-driven collapses in planetary biospheres. These are not punishments but reset buttons, built-in cosmic sensors. Another fringe interpretation suggests that advanced civilizations intentionally go silent. This is known as the dark forest hypothesis. It proposes that the universe is quiet because every intelligent species is hiding. In a cosmos where survival depends on not being detected, broadcasting one's existence could invite destruction. Every civilization, fearing the unknown intentions of others, chooses silence as a defense mechanism. Communication becomes dangerous. Expansion becomes a risk. The silence of the stars is not a mystery, it is a warning. There are also those who believe that civilizations do survive the filter, but transcend it in ways we cannot understand. They may evolve beyond physical form, entering digital consciousness, quantum substrates, or dimensions beyond our perception. Such beings would not build megastructures or send radio waves. Their presence would be invisible to any technology we possess. To them, humanity would be as ants are to astronomers, beneath notice, irrelevant, or simply incomprehensible. Another theory places the filter in the timeline of humanity itself. According to proponents of the simulation hypothesis, we are not observing a real universe at all. We are part of a controlled experiment. The silence of the stars is not natural, but programmed. Civilizations that pass certain thresholds may be deleted, reset, or isolated as part of a test or observation. The Great Filter, in this view, is not evolutionary, it is artificial. Some theories draw from ancient mythologies and occult traditions, suggesting that intelligent life has already risen on Earth many times before, lost civilizations with technologies that rivaled or surpassed our own. Their downfall, whether by hubris or cosmic catastrophe, may be the legacy of the filter already playing out in cycles. In this context, we are not the first. We are only the latest. There are even interpretations that place responsibility with external forces, interstellar gatekeepers or cosmic custodians who monitor emerging civilizations. If a species becomes too dangerous, expands too fast, or violates some unknown cosmic code, they may be stopped. This could explain not only the silence, but the eerie feeling that we are alone in a universe that should be teeming with life. Though unproven, these fringe ideas reflect a deep discomfort with the implications of the filter. They suggest that the true barrier may lie not only in biology or technology, but in the limits of what we are allowed to see or what we are ready to face. When viewed through a philosophical lens, the Great Filter forces us to confront our place in the universe not as explorers, but as a species on the brink. If the filter lies ahead, then we are fragile, balanced on a precipice where one wrong turn could end not just a civilization, but an entire evolutionary lineage. And if the filter lies behind us, then we are rare, perhaps even sacred, a miracle in a cosmos of silence. Both possibilities are heavy with meaning. If we are rare, then the responsibility of survival becomes profound. We are not simply one species among many. We may be the only species to have reached this point, the only witnesses of the universe's beauty, the only architects of memory and meaning. The silence becomes a burden, a message written across the stars. Do not fail. But if the filter is ahead, then what lies in wait? It may be an event we can name: nuclear war, ecological collapse, technological singularity. Or it may be something subtle and unnoticed, growing slowly within our own systems. A tendency to self-destruction, a blind spot in our awareness, a limit in consciousness that prevents the wisdom required for long-term survival. In this framing, the universe is not hostile, it is indifferent, and it is up to us to adapt or disappear. The filter also raises questions about the very structure of reality. If intelligent life is self-limiting, then consciousness itself may be transient, a brief flicker that emerges and vanishes across time. It challenges the belief that the universe is progressing towards something higher, more aware or more unified. Instead, it may be moving in cycles of growth and collapse. Each intelligent species blooms, reaches for the stars and falls, leaving no trace behind. Spiritual interpretations see in the filter a cosmic test. Survival becomes not just a matter of science or technology, but of moral evolution. A species that cannot balance power with compassion may be unworthy of continued existence. The filter, in this view, is a crucible. It separates those who are ready for the next stage from those who are not. It is not a wall, it is a mirror. Symbolically, the Great Filter represents humanity's darkest fear and brightest hope. It is the fear that we are not ready, that our intelligence is outpacing our wisdom, that we may reach the stars and destroy ourselves in the process. But it is also the hope that we can rise above, that we can learn, evolve and transcend the patterns that have destroyed others before us, if others ever existed at all. The silence may be our warning, or it may be our calling. Either way, the question remains: are we alone because we are special, or because we are next? Throughout this unfolding enigma, certain patterns begin to emerge, clues and contradictions that point in many directions, yet refuse to resolve into a clear answer. The raw data tell us that the universe is ancient, vast and filled with stars. Planets are common. Conditions for life are widespread. Life on Earth appeared early and evolved rapidly. Intelligence, though late to the game, has arrived in force. And yet, all our efforts to detect others like us have produced only silence. The science suggests several plausible filters: the rarity of life's origin, the difficulty of complex organisms, the fragility of technological societies. Each has its defenders. None has overwhelming proof. For every argument that places the filter in the deep past, another places it squarely in our future. And the silence does not settle the matter, it deepens the ambiguity. Some of the most intriguing findings in recent decades have come not from stars, but from Earth itself. Deep-sea hydrothermal vents have revealed life forms that thrive in conditions once thought impossible, feeding not on sunlight, but on chemical energy. These extremophiles suggest that life may not need Earth-like conditions at all. It may emerge in ice-covered moons, sulfuric oceans, or subterranean caverns. This broadens the scope of habitability, but also sharpens the paradox. If life is so versatile, why do we see no evidence of it? On the technological front, humanity has developed instruments of astonishing sensitivity. We can detect the faintest wobbles in distant stars, the dimming of exoplanets passing across suns hundreds of light years away, and the precise composition of alien atmospheres. We are developing the capacity to spot biosignatures, chemical traces like oxygen, methane, or chlorophyll that could indicate life. And yet nothing definitive has been found. Even the anomalies we do detect remain inconclusive. The WOW signal, recorded in 1977, was a brief, strong radio burst unlike anything seen before or since. Its origin remains unknown. Tabby's star showed irregular dimming that sparked wild speculation about alien megastructures, but follow-up observations suggested natural causes. Time and again, the promise of contact fades into uncertainty. The summary of clues paints a picture that is at once detailed and incomplete. We know more than ever about the conditions for life, the timeline of evolution, and the possibilities for space travel. But we still do not know whether we are typical or exceptional, whether we are early or late, whether we are a preview or the final act. These questions remain suspended in silence. They form the contours of a mystery that is both scientific and existential, one that forces us to look outward toward the stars and inward toward ourselves. The Great Filter may be real, but where it lies, behind us, ahead of us, or all around us, remains unknown. And it may remain unknown until it is too late to matter. As the puzzle of the Great Filter continues to resist definitive answers, a deeper truth begins to emerge, not in the form of a solution, but in the shape of the questions it forces us to ask. Perhaps the most unsettling realization is that even if we are able to identify the nature of the filter, we may not be able to escape it. Knowledge does not always equal power. And in some cases, awareness of the danger may come only in retrospect, long after the final step has been taken. If we are to survive what may lie ahead, we must first recognize that intelligence alone is not sufficient. Intelligence has brought us nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, and ecological instability. It has also brought us medicine, spaceflight, and an understanding of our place in the cosmos. But survival may require more than understanding. It may require wisdom, an alignment of knowledge, restraint, and long-term vision that few civilizations may ever achieve. The filter, if it exists in the future, may not announce itself with explosions or warnings. It may come quietly, through environmental collapse, loss of biodiversity, runaway technological escalation, or the slow erosion of societal cohesion. These are dangers we already face. We do not need to imagine alien threats when our own trajectory provides so many. And yet in that realization, there is also a kind of empowerment. If the filter is not a cosmic accident but a pattern, then it may be possible to recognize it, to adapt, and to change course. The fact that we are even asking these questions may be a sign of hope. Most species may not get that chance. They may not reach the point where they can reflect, anticipate, and take responsibility for their future. Some thinkers propose that the ability to detect the filter is itself a milestone, a kind of self-awareness test for civilizations. Only those who see the precipice can choose to avoid it. If that is true, then our time is now, not tomorrow, not when the crisis becomes obvious, but in this moment, when the silence is loudest and the sky offers no answers. In this context, the search for extraterrestrial life becomes more than a scientific quest. It becomes a mirror, a way to understand ourselves by understanding the absence of others. Every failed signal detection, every empty sky survey is a reminder that the odds may be stacked against intelligence surviving for long. But it is also a reminder that we are still here, that we have not yet failed. If we are the first, then the responsibility of becoming a spacefaring civilization rests entirely on our shoulders. If we are the last, then we must ask why. And if we are alone, not because others never existed, but because they did not survive, then we may be living in the closing moment of a universal story repeated countless times, one that ends not with discovery, but with silence. And yet, our story is not over. Not yet. We still have choices to make, paths to walk, and stars to reach. The filter may still be ahead, but so is our future. If the great filter is real, then our presence here is extraordinary. We are a product of countless unlikely events, a sequence of fragile transitions that somehow did not fail. From the formation of our planet to the birth of consciousness, from language to electricity, from stone tools to radio waves, every step has carried us closer to the stars. And yet, standing at the edge of this cosmic threshold, we do not find welcome. We find silence. It is a silence heavy with implication. In that silence, there are no signals from civilizations older than ours, no evidence of vast empires spanning galaxies, no ruins of cosmic pioneers. We listen for echoes, but hear none. We look for lights, but see only stars. It is as though the universe is holding its breath. And still we build, we launch probes, we scan skies, we dream of other worlds. The very act of wondering, of seeking, is what sets us apart. But it also raises a challenge. If the filter is before us, then every future step, interplanetary colonization, advanced artificial intelligence, climate stabilization, is not guaranteed. Each may carry its own risks, its own version of extinction. The filter may not be a single wall. It may be a narrowing path, one we must walk carefully, together, without knowing how close the edge truly is. There is no instruction manual for surviving a cosmic test. No blueprint for lasting longer than any civilization that might have come before. What we have is vision, imagination, and the growing knowledge of what is at stake. Our choices, technological, environmental, ethical, may determine whether the filter stops with us or is passed by for the first time. And if, against the silence, we endure, if we step beyond the filter and expand into the stars, then we carry not only our species forward, but the hopes of every life form that tried and failed, every silent world, every extinguished spark. We become more than survivors, we become witnesses, custodians of memory, voices in a universe that, until now, has known only silence. Thanks for listening. This has been Mysteries of the Universe. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show and unlock bonus content, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.